Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon. Today we're going to be featuring a Brawl deck with Minsc, Beloved Ranger as our commander, as part of our series of Brawl videos featuring commanders from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. Minsc, of course, is easily the most popular character from the first two games of the Baldur's Gate computer game franchise, and of course, he also comes with Boo, his miniature giant space hamster, aka a hamster. In game terms, when Minsc enters, you create Boo, a 1/1 hamster token with trample and haste. Minsc has an activated ability to pay any amount of mana, and if you use this ability, target creature you control gains base power and toughness equal to the amount of mana you spent activating this ability until end of turn. The creature also becomes a giant in addition to its other types. Obviously, this ability is meant to supersize Boo, but it is also very effective with creatures with low base power and toughness that enter with +1/+1 counters on them, because Minsc's ability is more effective with such creatures to begin with, and the counters stack on top of the modified base power and toughness. The deck's strategy, then, is to ramp out big creatures with lots of +1/+1 counters, and use all that extra mana on Minsc's ability to make them even bigger. Let's look at the deck, starting with our mana acceleration. Chromox, now a mainstay in Brawl, lets us get off to explosive starts, while Abyssin's Pilgrim, Birds of Paradise, and Delighted Halfling can help us play Minsc on turn 2 if our lands cooperate. At 2 mana, Bloom Tender can add 3 mana while Minsc is in play, while both Fanatic of Rhonas and Elysian Caryatid add extra mana if we control a big creature. Incubation Druid adds 3 mana if it has a +1/+1 counter on it, while Woe's Pathfinder has an activated ability to buff a creature and give it trample. We have the new Gruul Signet, Talisman of Impulse, Celestia Signet, and Talisman of Unity from the latest Anthology expansion. We're not playing the Boros artifacts because most of our spells are green. Wandertail Mentor can pick up a +1/+1 counter on our turn if we spend at least 4 mana to cast spells. We could do this on opponent's turn as well, but we're not playing any instant speed expensive spells. While Arcane Signet is a great ramp artifact for any multicolored Brawl deck. Ornn Power Stone, Hedron Archive, and the new Ring of the Lucy from Final Fantasy all add 2 mana, while Hamza, Guardian of Arashin, gets a discount for each creature we control with a +1/+1 counter on it, and discounts our other creature spells for each creature we control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Next, we have our +1/+1 counter enablers. Innkeeper's Talent puts a +1/+1 counter on a creature at the beginning of combat, and can be leveled up to protect creatures with counters on them, and then to double how many counters of any kind we put on permanents or players. Whenever we put a +1/+1 counter on a creature while Ozolith the Shattered Spire is in play, we put an extra counter on it, and Ozolith also has an activated ability to put +1/+1 counters on creatures. Ornery Tumblewag puts a +1/+1 counter on a creature at the beginning of combat, and if it attacks while saddled, doubles the number of +1/+1 counters on a creature. Thunderous Velocipede is a vehicle that lets our creatures enter with one or more additional +1/+1 counters on them, depending on their mana value, while the new Saz Katzroy from Final Fantasy finds a basic land when he enters, and when he attacks puts a +1/+1 counter on a creature, and then doubles the number of counters on that creature. Helena and Elena Partners put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to their power on a creature at the beginning of combat and give it haste, so they are excellent targets for +1/+1 counters themselves, while Railway Brawler can be plotted to be cast for free on a future turn, and effectively doubles the power of toughness of other creatures we control when they enter. Next are most of our creatures that have low base power and toughness, and that enter with +1/+1 counters on them, most of which are Hydras. Stonecoil Serpent has reach and trample, and protection from multicolored, which can be relevant in some matchups, while Sheban Devastator is a flying threat with haste. Ochre Jelly is a resilient trampling threat, while Goldvein Hydra has vigilance, trample, and haste, and when it dies, creates a number of tapped treasures equal to its power. Hungering Hydra can't be blocked by more than one creature, and whenever it is dealt damage, adds a number of +1/+1 counters equal to the damage it was dealt. Mist Cutter Hydra can't be countered, it has haste and protection from blue, while Nyxborn Hydra can be cast as an aura to give another creature reach and trample, and buffs the enchanted creature equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on the Hydra. Finally, Hooded Hydra can be played face down for 2 mana, and when it dies while face up, it creates 3 mana, I should say, and when it dies while face up, it creates snake tokens equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on it. Next, we have our interaction. Hopeful Initiate picks up +1/+1 counters if it attacks alongside a bigger creature than it, and has an activated ability to remove 2 +1/+1 counters from our creatures to destroy an artifact or enchantment, while the new Zac Fair from Final Fantasy can be sacrificed to protect another creature and put his +1/+1 counters on that creature. District Mascot picks up +1/+1 counters if it attacks while saddled, and has an activated ability to remove 2 +1/+1 counters from it to destroy an artifact, while Domri's Ambush is a fight spell that puts a +1/+1 counter on our creature and can also target planeswalkers. Unbreakable Formation gives the team Indestructible, and if cast main phase, puts a +1/+1 counter on all our creatures and gives them Vigilance until end of turn, while all three of Felling Blow, Knockout Maneuver, and Signature Slam are fight spells that put a +1/+1 counter on the creature we control that we target with the spell. All Will Be One deals damage to players, creatures, and planeswalkers whenever we put counters of any kind on our permanents while it is in play, while Gargos, Vicious Watcher, fights an opposing creature when one of our creatures is targeted by a spell, including our own spells. Gargos also discounts our Hydra spells. We can remove a +1/+1 counter from Steelbane Hydra to destroy an artifact or enchantment, while Voracious Hydra can fight an opposing creature when it enters. Next we have Gnarlid Colony, Dusk Shell Crawler, Pride Malkin, and Tuskguard Captain, all of which give trample to creatures we control with +1/+1 counters on them. Next are our card advantage engines. The new Terra Symbiosis from Edge of Eternities lets us draw a number of cards equal to the number of +1/+1 counters we put on a creature we control once each turn, while Guardian Project and Beast Whisperer both effectively draw a card when we play non-token creatures. The Great Henge gets a discount equal to the power of our biggest creature, and taps to add 2 green mana and gains us 2 life, and whenever a non-token creature enters under our control while the Henge is in play, we put a +1/+1 counter on that creature and draw a card. Finally, the new Diodrine, Synthesis Amalgam, from Edge of Eternities has trample, and whenever we attack, lets us remove a +1/+1 counter from 2 creatures we control to draw a card and create a robot creature token. Our final category consists of synergistic value cards. Agatha of the Vile Cauldron discounts activated abilities equal to her power, and has an activated ability herself to buff the team and give them trample and haste, so she is a good recipient for +1/+1 counters, while Branching Evolution, the new loading zone from Edge of Eternities, and Doubling Season all double how many +1/+1 counters we put on our creatures. Finally, Sigarda Summons turns all our creatures with +1/+1 counters on them into flying angels. We have lots of dual lands in all 3 color pairs, along with all of the fetch lands that search for either forests, mountains, or plains, as well as our Tri-land, Jetmir's Garden, and the new Starting Town from Final Fantasy, which enters untapped early on and adds 1 mana of any color. Our utility lands include Minas Tirith for card draw, Arena of Glory to give our creatures haste, Castle Garenbrig for ramp, and Captivating Cave and Cave of Temptation, both of which can be sacrificed to put 2 +1/+1 counters on one of our creatures. So that's our Minsc deck. Now it's time to take it into the queue and play some games. On the play, only 2 lands, but I do have Avacyn's Pilgrim, which lets me play Minsc on 2. So maybe I'll lead with Ornery Tumblewag. So, as long as we can draw lands, this is keepable. We'll try it. Lead with Pathway on green. Gnarly Colony could be good. We draw a land, that's great. And then we'll play Minsc.
Boo and I are ready to rumble!
Let's start putting counters on Boo here. Plays Spelunking. Finds land. And then I think we fetch Surveil land. And let's get a white source. Since right now my only white source is Pilgrim. And then we'll get Lush Portico, because we need lots of green mana for Gargos. I'll take Sal's Kastroy. And then we'll find Mountain with Saws, so I have double red for All Will Be One. Could also get Birds, but I want to hit my land drop, so... And I only have 1 mana, so Minsc isn't going to do anything activating him, because Boo's already a base 1/1. And we'll just keep pumping up Boo, I think. Opponent falls to 6, and that's enough for opponent. Alright, on we go. On the draw. Not sure if I can keep without ramp, but I've got 3 lands. Beast Whisperer for card advantage, some removal, Ornery Tumblewag to put +1/+1 counters on my creatures. So even though I don't have ramp, I think this is still keepable. We draw land. Opponent leads with Ixali's Lorekeeper. So they've got ramp for dinosaurs. Plays Intangible Virtue. Hits us for 1. They don't have a turn to play, so we'll play Foundry tapped. One plays tap land. Soul Warden, okay. Wandertail Mentor, a turn late. And then I wouldn't mind, against a deck that probably is going wide, I wouldn't mind finding something that gives my creatures trample. And then I think we play Beast Whisperer next. And then turn after that we can play Minsc, Wandertail Mentor, or I guess Wandertail Mentor into Minsc. Looks like opponent's got a dinosaur. Avacyn's Pilgrim. I might want to remove Good Fortune Unicorn, but I think it's still best to play Beast Whisperer. I could also play Wandertail Mentor and Domri's Ambush. Oh, I forgot to saddle the Tumblewag with Wandertail Mentor, so we didn't double counters. You have to remember that saddling is you can only do at sorcery speed, unlike vehicles, which you can crew at instant speed. So once you go to combat, you can't saddle anymore. And then next turn, it's Beast Whisperer, Avacyn's Pilgrim to draw. And we'll remember to saddle Tumblewag this time. Alright, so far our opponent hasn't been ramping out dinosaurs. Not sure why they tapped the Lore Keeper. We'll saddle Tumblewag. Draw land. And then I think we'll double the counters on Tumblewag here. Opponent takes it, falls to 12. They hit land 4. Alright, plays Aerith Rescue Mission. Now I definitely want to find some way of giving my creatures trample.
will break evil's
Miss
bones.
Hydra.
Unless it's boneless. Then, we smoosh it.
I can play Miss Hydra for X equals 4. Playing Gold Vein Hydra. We'll start double encounters on Boo. Opponent takes it, falls to 1. And that's enough for opponent. Alright. On we go. On the play. Facing the Myco Tyrant. So the Fungus tokens can't block, at least. But the Myco Tyrant can get pretty big. But I think this is keepable. We've got 3 lands. Blighted Halfling for ramp. Not sure how useful Hopeful Initiate will be in the matchup. And then we'll get Velocity down. Arena of Glory. We're going to take a bit of damage off our mana base here. Restless Bivouac, I forgot I had that in my mana base. Anyway, so Restless Bivouac, it's in the deck because it puts +1/+1 counters on creatures when it attacks. Anyway, it's tap land, so we'll play Minsc.
Fight the good fight. Actually, fight all the fights.
And then Minsc can crew Velocipede. So maybe I fetch untapped land to play Hopeful Initiate. Could get Plains. I think I get Temple Garden. And then I'd like a way to put additional +1/+1 counters on creatures. I'm going to play Sephiroth. I can play Devastator for 4. And then I want to enable Hopeful Initiate to pick up a counter with training, so it has to attack. So I think we'll tap Minsc here. Hit for 13. Opponent takes it. And that's enough for opponents. Alright. On we go. On the play. This could be a tough matchup. Not sure about this hand. I don't have any creatures that get or anything to put +1/+1 counters on Boo, for example. No card draw, no interaction. But I do like the ramp. And getting out Sigarda's Summons could be good, because we can fly over Sauron. So I think we'll try it. Opponent mulliganing. We've got one of the Tarkir Dragonstorm Ultimatum sleeves, I think. They go down to 6. We'll lead with District. Railway Brawler. Now, I won't be able to plot that on 3 because I've got Tapland. Alright, that's good. That means I can plot Brawler, play Minsc. Alright. That was too bad, but we can still play Minsc and Brawler. And then Bloom Tender I don't need.
We will break eagle's bones. Unless it's boneless. Then, we smush it.
Alright. Opponent has Nazgul. Hushguard Captain. I think I like Pathfinder Wandertail Mentor. Guess it'll be Wandertail Mentor into Pathfinder. And then I don't want to trade Minsc or Railway Brawler with Nazgul. Wouldn't mind hitting land. Actually, I guess I can play Sigarda's Summons. And Hopeful Initiate. And that's enough for our opponent. Alright, I'll take it. On we go. On the play, only 2 lands. I think I might keep this on the draw, but I think on the play I want to look for a hand with 3 lands. So let's take our free mulligan. Alright. Don't really want to go down to 6. Although, the problem with this hand is I can't play Pilgrim on 1. So maybe we do go down to 6. Alright. Don't have ramp until we get Ring of the Lucy down, but we've got 3 lands. So I think we can keep this. And then what to bottom? Maybe it's Zac or Gnarlid Colony? I'll be shuffling the card back in with Arid Misa anyway. So let's bottom Zac. And play Tapland. I don't think I'll wait to kick Colony, I'll just play it on 2. Although now that I've drawn another land, I kind of like the idea of waiting to kick Gnarlid Colony. That's also a lot better with Diadrine. So I'll play tap land, play Minsc next turn.
The sun is warm. The air is sweet. Now let us fight!
Well said, Minsc. You can hit for 1 with Boo. I like that Minsc has speech when he enters, which is rare for a creature. That's usually reserved for planeswalkers. Okay. And in fact, it's the exact same text that he says here that the Minsc planeswalker from Alchemy Horizons Baldur's Gate says. He has the same different options for text. So let's play Ring of the Lucy. I think I'll just fetch basic mountain here. And I can activate Minsc for 2, but that doesn't do anything, so no attacks. And then next turn, I think we can either kick Gnarlid Colony or play Diadrine. Opponent had fetch land. We draw another land. I think I like kick Gnarlid Colony. Play Commercial District here. And yeah, let's keep the Great Henge. Opponent ramps with a kicked Grow from the Ashes. So they'll draw a card off to Nook here. cast Guideline Station next turn. They probably won't, since they only have the one multicolored permanent. Cammy, okay. We'll fetch basic planes here, I think. And then I can cast Diadrine for X equals 4? 5. We draw land. Northland Colony can attack. Alright, and then Halana and Elaine is nice. Especially with Great Henge. Opponent ramp some more. And thanks to Kami, they doubled the number of counters on Agrarian. Alright, Terra Symbiosis. And then, if I play untapped land, I can tap down the Agrarian with the ring. Alright, I think I can draw, if I wait until I get the trigger from Halana and Lena, I think I can draw 3 cards, so I'll decline to draw 1. And then what to put the counters on? Maybe on Boo, so it can start attacking. We'll draw 3 cards. No, we won't attack with the robot. And then I think I'll keep counters on. Actually, let's draw a card here. Opponent takes it, falls to 5. Opponent had Bushwhack. Gold Vein Hydra. We'll tap the Guideline Station. And then I think we play Gold Vein Hydra, so we have a hasty attacker, which I can play for X equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Opponent has something they can do. It could just be... No, Station is a sorcery, so they've got something they can do at instant speed. If they counter Gold Vein Hydra, I think I still have... Yeah, because opponent only has 2 blockers, so I'll be able to get in with 4 creatures. Alright. The opponent seems to have disconnected here. If they time out here, then they won't be able to block. But they're pretty dead, I think. Sure, we'll draw 7. Don't need to draw a card. Alright. On we go. On the play. Facing Depala Pilot Exemplar. Dwarf Vehicle Synergy Commander. I think we can keep this. We've got plenty of ramp, 3 lands. Saz Castroy can put +1/+1 counters on creatures. And then it's both Pathfinder or Wandertail Mentor first, I think. Because Bloom Tender won't allow me to cast Minsc. Could also play Saz Catsroy first. Opponent leads with Lion Sash. Here, we'll play Saz Catsroy here. And then I could get Birds of Paradise. I don't really need either Birds of Paradise or land. I think I'll get land. I don't really need another ramp creature, and getting land helps thin out the deck. We'll get a red source. Alright. So that is a little too bad, because that means I won't be able to play Minsc and a 2-drop.
Boo isn't just any hamster. He's a miniature giant space hamster.
And we'll start putting counters on Boo with Saz Catsroy. Alright, opponent's got removal for Saz. Alright, drawing another land's not really what I want here. Alright, so I can attack with Minsc and Boo, draw with Minas Tirith, and then I think I'll play Bloom Tender. Branching Evolution. Opponent's got Priest of Ancient Lore. Seven Dwarves makes sense. Diadrine. Alright. I can activate Minsc for X equals 4. Does that let me attack with Boo? Boo would be 6/6. So opponent could still trade for Boo. So I don't think I have attacks, because I'm, unlike the Planeswalker, Minsc, and Boo from Alchemy Horizons Baldur's Gate, you don't make Boo multiple times if he gets removed with Minsc, Beloved Ranger. So no attacks. Wouldn't mind Sigarda's Summons. Alright, and then I can play die drawing for x equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright. No attacks. Hopefully opponent doesn't have removal for die drawing, because that would be very unfortunate. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. No blocks. Drawing another land is pretty unfortunate here. Alright, let's see here. How big can I get Boo? That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, opponent has to jump. But they take it. Alright. We lucked out there. Opponent had plenty of interaction, but fortunately, Minsc's ability wins us the game. And I think that was the first time we actually activated Minsc this whole video. Alright, let's take a look at the deck. Alright, so that was our Minsc deck. And we're busy tapping out, so we don't often activate Minsc's ability, but when we do, it can be pretty good, as we saw in that last game. I mean, opponent could have survived if they chumped Boo, so they were far from lost by any means, but having that mana sink with Minsc was really useful, because we didn't have any card draw and only lands in hand, so that helped out a lot. Otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward ramp out big green creatures, although in this case it's the X spell Hydra type creatures rather than your typical big stompy creatures. And we do have some +1/+1 counter synergy, although this isn't a full-on +1/+1 counter deck, like the Oko the Trickster Brawl deck I featured in my series of videos on Throne of Eldraine. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching. Do please like and subscribe. If you'd like to see another commander from Brawl, perhaps from Edge of Eternities, let me know in the comments. And have a good one. Bye.